Okay. Hello, friends. It's pod preview day. Preview. So let's make some ano ba? Wrong predictions. Char. So we'll talk about our upcoming group matches in the World Cup. I'm glad we're doing this tonight because ano ba, I'm not too happy about how what most people are saying about us. So let's just to preface this conversation, we're going to the World Cup under the leadership of Coach Alan Stajcic, who had a very long history with the Matildas or the Australian women's national football team. So just to refresh or remind everyone, he reached the quarterfinals with the Australian team in the World Cup in 2015, quarterfinals in 2016 Olympics, Asian Cup final 2014 and 2018. So our team, the Filipinas, is being led by someone who has been there, has done well, and knows what it takes to lead us there or to glory. Next glory. So so far we're coming to the World Cup at our highest ranking at 46. We were at the was it 65 or 67 when Coach Allen took over. And then we were semi-finalists in the Asian Cups. And we're AFF champions. And we played a total of, let me just check, 32 games in 2022 and 9 this year so far. But before we go per game, let's talk about the provisional roster first. And with me again, Jack. Sorry. Minsan iba yung nasa video recording eh. So kung nasa naman siya, Jack and Kent, fresh from his SBS Filipino appearance. Dax.
Yes.
Your thoughts? Are you happy with the roster? You want to start, Mr. SBS Filipino, Kent Garcia?
First of all, good evening to sa mga nakikinig ng Futbol Brew. It's always a pleasure to be invited here. Always grateful for Ben. And to Jack, good evening as well. Regarding the provisional lineup, it's more of walang labis, walang kulang. Everyone who needed to get a look was invited. In paper, parang that's the culminating thing of the process that we've made, the progress that we've made under Coach Allen. Surely it will be a very good professional roster where we can base our final lineup from, and I'm sure all these ladies they're raring to prove themselves. Especially in the midfielder and in the defenders standpoint, these are the positions where there will be some competitions. But regardless of that, I'm really satisfied with the lineup. Lahat ng nandun na. It's just for, I'm just excited to find out who will be the final 23 that Coach Allen will select. And one thing is for sure, I hate to be Coach Allen. To select the final lineup with all these talented players. Some of them are coming from good club seasons or having a career resurgence after quite some time. Good thing I'm not part of the coaching staff to make those tough decisions.
Yes, correct. Jack, ikaw.
Okay, so and thank you Futbol Brew and Van for having me again, and good evening everyone sa ating mga avid listeners, yan, sa mga fans.
Sa ating mga
So,
tagapakinig.
yes, medyo nabulod ako kaya hindi ko na sinabi. So, ayun. So, provisional roster. So, ayun. So as my close friends know, ayun, I'm so happy that Angie Beard is finally there. Ayan. So, woot woot. Yes. That was ayun. So it's the same set of girls that we've been seeing for over a year. So now it's the final test for everyone. May they be the regulars, or may they be the ones that skipped a few camps but are going to be back. So Ayun. So, for me personally, yung aking wall of Intramuros is complete. So, masaya ako dun sa part na yun. So, my personal wall of Intramuros would be Angie Beard, Jessica Cowart, Hailey Long, and Alicia Barker. And then, syempre, sa gitna nun is si Olivia. So, that's my personal. So, hopefully, they be able to protect the goal effectively for 3 games in order for us to cross round of 16. But that's for me as a fan. Then again, everything boils down to how they'll be performing in the camp before the final roster is out. And ayun nga, same with Kent. It's going to be a hard decision then on the side of the coaches. If the girls will be fighting for the spot, the 23 girls na makakatawid dun sa final roster na yun, it will be a rewarding experience for everyone. And it's very crucial then for the coaches to select those vital 23.
Thanks, Jack. So I will now formally include Angie Beard to my lock-in players.
Yes.
Since we only have her on level 3 due to clearances. But now she's officially in. And it's hard to imagine that she won't be in the World Cup representing us, to be honest. And like I've mentioned many times, and as you mentioned na rin, Jack, I'll just use ano na lang. She completes our Department of National Defense.
Yun. Yes,
Ah,
very much.
Very much. Okay, and also Jess Miklat is back. Whatever the reason is for her previous non-inclusion is let's just say water under the bridge. To me, at least we need to bring the best, and it will be interesting to see if she'll make it. She's playing regularly in Sweden. She's crafty. I love her technique. I guess this might boil down to team fit. But also happy for the return of Riley. We'll see if she's fit enough to make it. In terms of forwards, again, we don't lack the firepower, and hopefully the coaches assess that Chandler is ready, because I'm all for it. Honestly, let's just bring all the 6 forwards. We need them all. Okay, so ito na. Okay, guys, so on to the games. Let's start with our, oh my God, we're talking about this now. Our first opponent, it's going to be Filipinas versus Switzerland. Switzerland is currently 20th in the world. Like Norway, they hired a new coach, Inka Grings, former German striker. She had 64 goals out of 96 appearances. I think, to me, I think they're underrated. Not a lot of people are talking about them, and there are a lot of um players. Surprisingly, when I was looking at the roster, I'm like, ay, Swiss pala yun. Alam mo yung hindi mo alam na Swiss pala sila. And as mentioned by Inka Grings also in an interview, she wants this Switzerland team to play aggressive football. That's her term, aggressive football. And just compared to New Zealand, I think Switzerland has more capability to score. And so far, since she took over early this year, they played 4 friendlies. They draw all 3. That's versus Poland and China, but they lost 1-2 versus Iceland. Notable players, of course, Arsenal's Leah Volti, but she's still nursing an injury. She did an interview a few weeks back. She mentioned that she can, based on her timeline, she'll make the World Cup. And I don't want to butcher her name, but let's just call her Ana Maria of Barcelona. And of course, Alicia Lehmann. Okay, guys, your thoughts? How do you think we'll play against Switzerland? You want to start, Jack?
Okay, so Switzerland. I'm seeing yun nga, aggressive team. I'm hoping that I'm seeing them as one of the teams ng Pinatar, so it will be a repeat for somehow Wales or what's the other team there? Scotland. So medyo yun yung mga ka-level na eh. So if that would be yung ka-level ng teams na kakalabanin ng girls natin on the opening day. Hopefully they've learned everything that they need to learn from Wales and Scotland and apply that to Switzerland to get the first win, because the opening game is, again, it will dictate the fate of our team if we'll be able to cross or stay in the group stages. Yun lang. And strength for me, strength ng Switzerland is Alicia Lehmann. I cannot say anything more than that. So, alam natin
Gotcha.
kung gaano siya kalakas, and our defenses will be tested super. So they should be ready, and we cannot just rely on our defense to do the work. We'll be asking help from our midline to defend. Kasi kung ganun sila ka-aggressive, we need more people to help protecting the goal. But our midline should be able to do an automatic switch if we've got an advantage. Because sa basketball, they need to do a fast break. So, ganun.
Gotcha. Kent, your thoughts?
Well, as per what Jack have mentioned, them having a close result with Iceland says a lot about their team. And then very good European side, and alam naman natin in a major tournament, the first match is always crucial. You want to start on the right note, and the first match sets the tempo on what the tournament will be for you, for the team. It will be a very, very tough match for us. Siguro we've learned, for me, I think we've learned our lessons from the Pinatar Cup and facing European sides. One thing for sure there is how to defend much more physically imposing opponents. So I think the Filipinas learned it the hard way, especially when they fought against Iceland, who was not only dominating physically but very clinical. So when you have the likes of Alicia Lehmann there, and you don't want to take things for granted. You want to play good defense, but as well as make the most out of the few opportunities you'll get during the match. So we have veterans there like Leah Walty as well. So I watch a bit of Champions League, Women's Champions League and Women's Super League. So that's how good she is. Over 100 almost 100 caps for Switzerland. So it will be a tough challenge for our defense. I'm sure they're not really scared, but excited for the possibility of facing this type of quality player. So don't want to say any result, but it will be a tough match. And I think the Filipinas will, look forward to try to limit the threat of Switzerland, but at the same time, try to find opportunities to score. Most probably through transitions and set pieces. Yan yung makukuha natin most of the time against tough opponents. So I hope they will make the most out of it.
Both alluded to, parang this is our first match. I kind of like want to parallel it with how the expectations were and how you went against Thailand in the Asian Cup. I mean, like how crucial it is, because ayun nga, it will kind of dictate the next games going forward. So I also it's not make wrong predictions. But if we pull a draw against a Switzerland, and I know we'll talk about them later, or in New Zealand, I mean, it's going to be chaos. Anything can happen. Ewan ko, siguro magwawala ako even if we just draw Switzerland. So yeah, let's move on to Filipinas versus New Zealand. New Zealand is currently 26th in the world. They haven't released their final roster yet, but it will be out on June 30th. They've surprisingly, I didn't know this, they've appeared in 5 World Cups, but has never won a game. So this year alone, they've already played 7 friendlies so far. They didn't win any of those. But they did draw Iceland 1-1 back in April. Another reminder that we lost to Iceland 5-0 in the Pinatar Cup. A lot of their players play in the A-League. They played against one of our opponents in this group, Norway, back in 2020 in the Algarve Cup. They were able to score first, but Norway was the eventual winner. We played New Zealand last year, September. Was it September? Yeah, September. We lost 2-1. Sarina drew first blood, but they scored in the 70th minute through a pen. And of course, Holly Riley scored in the 83rd minute. So just based on their record and having seen them play during the friendly, I think we can beat, if not draw, New Zealand. To me, this is a team that tends to, medyo sit back and just hope for a counter attack. To be honest, I don't think they have like a potent striker talaga. I think that's what they're lacking also. That's why they haven't really won any of the friendlies, no? But your thoughts, guys. What do you think? Kent, you want to start with this one?
Well, definitely, this is the match that we should try to put like 110% to win. Kasi nakita naman natin last year, we started very well. You know, against New Zealand sa Fullerton. And from that alone, I just had a feeling that kinapos lang tayo nung the last half of the game. We were just really like run out of energy, or like basta yung level ng play parang bumaba tayo, then that's what enabled them to come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of players as well. We have some players as well na familiar with how they with some of these players like Jackie and Angie. They played in the A-League, as well as Sarina had some time there. I get regarding your point about the striker, the most established striker that they have, I think, is Hannah Wilkinson. But she doesn't have
Yeah,
she doesn't really have a decent goal scoring output either. It's like
true.
more than 100 caps, but I think she hasn't reached like 30 goals or more. So plus in the recent collapse, there are other options at forward. They're also don't have decent goal scoring ratio. But yeah, regarding their defense, I think that's their strength. You know, you have Ali Riley, who's their like talisman figure at the back. And while I've watched a few years ago their friendly against the US. They're really good at sucking. They're really good at playing the low block against tougher opponents. So parang it's still a mystery how they'll play against like a much more even opponent. O, ganun. Parang hindi sila palaging nandun sa situation na ganun. Plus, they haven't won a match yet this year. So, parang tayo, kumbaga, they need to sort that out. Because, even if we say that they played tougher opponents, losing this year, losing most of your matches this year, medyo how do you say this? Demoralizing yan. So, it's gonna be an exciting match, though I'll give New Zealand the edge kasi they'll play in their home crowd. It's a
Yes.
home crowd, and the pressure of them qualifying was one of the hosts to get out of the group. For sure, they want to meet those expectations. No? So but at our in our point of view, the Filipinas need to win this game if we want to, get out of the group. This is the match na ito yung talagang pinaka Waterloo natin when it comes to the group stage. And the result last year, it gives us confidence that we can hang with them. Definitely. It's just a matter of consistency and playing for 90 minutes. So it's not impossible that we can draw, and definitely not impossible that we can win.
Yes. Thank you, Ken. Jack, your thoughts.
Okay, so same with your stance. I believe that we can win over New Zealand, and we must win. Yeah. So yun. Because among the three opponents, this is the nearest ranking that we have. I mean, yung pinakamalapit sa atin. So, abot kamay ang ating tagumpay sa New Zealand. So, ayan. So, kailangan lang talaga natin siyang i-materialize in order for us to get out of the group stage. I mean, aside from winning New Zealand, we need one more. So, it could be Switzerland or Norway. So as opportunities for them, you've mentioned that they've participated in the World Cup 5 times but never won a game. I'm seeing it because they're always topping OFC. They're the big fish in a small pond over there. So that's the same reason why Australia transferred to AFC then. So since hindi ganun ka-competitive yung mga kalaban nila doon, it is expected that they'll always be topping OFC, and then that automatically makes them a participant in the World Cup. So yun nga lang, whenever they are in the real tournament, they can't win a game kasi nga kulang sila sa experience in playing with a more competitive team. So opportunity then for us, sana, is Michaela Moore because she did a hat trick against the US, but it is a hat trick of own goals. So let's see, or let's hope for that error. Sorry, but hopefully,
Let's hope for another hat trick.
hat trick. Yeah, that is favorable for us. But we've seen her being a force then in the defense, so she changed that when we played against New Zealand in California last year. So medyo ayun, na-realize na yung totoo niyang role. So let's see if she'll be making some errors again. Their strengths is again Ali Riley, as you've mentioned. Hannah Wilkinson is I think their biggest striker together with Olivia Chance. And she just transferred during the time that we played against New Zealand, so we haven't seen her play. But I'm expecting India Page Riley to be a reinforcement for them. So yun din. And hopefully we'll be able to win given those arsenals that they have. Because again, if we need to get out of the group stage, this is our easiest opponent among the three. So that's for me.
Yep, thanks. I agree. I agree. But yeah, New Zealand definitely needs to work on their defense as well, which to me is very vulnerable. That's something for sure. Now someone like as cunning as Katrina or as shifty as QQ can definitely exploit. But really, I think it's their home crowd that's going to be their massive advantage. So it can go either way. We've played in a Vietnam home crowd in the SEA Games, so our ladies are familiar with the feeling. So I'm confident it really won't bother them. But yeah, I agree with all your points. We need to win this game if we want to cross over to go to the knockouts, or at least rank second in this in the group stage. Okay, so let's proceed with Norway versus Philippines. So Norway is currently 12th in the world. This is a team that is still being haunted by the trauma of the Euros. But my gosh, they have some of the best players in the world. Ada Hegerberg, Carlin Graham Hansen, my favorite Guru Raiden, Marian Melde, very high individual quality. To me, it's like this will be one term na yun? Quest for redemption for Norway. They have appointed Hege Riise, who is a legend in Norway. And I would say the definition of Norwegian football. And she coached a lot of these players since they were kids. So the level of respect is there, and she definitely knows what each of her player is capable of doing. So parang now they really need to just pick themselves up and not only play for their country, but also I think they owe it to Ada, to Marin. I mean, they have history. They're the former world champions and runners up. Um, and also they are in, let's just say this, what about fairly comfortable group, to be honest. So everyone expects that they will top this group for sure. Um, what are your thoughts about this game, Ken? You want to start?
Well, I'm just happy for most of the players. I think some of them will play their idols. Uh, Imagine Maya, Jess, Hailey Long competing against, against Ada, against Caroline, Guraten,
Ba't parang ako yung kinikilig? Kilig.
diba? Parang siguro, the feels will hit kapag nag-blow na yung opening whistle. But I view it like how we played against Australia in the Women's Asian Cup last year. We'll try our best to be more compact. Try to frustrate Norway through that kind of defense. So, we make sure that that the grasshoppers don't jump on us on every single occasion. Ganon. So, but I'm not really sure if we're gonna play deep kasi Coach Allen very very pragmatic, but he doesn't want the Filipinas to just defend the whole time. She also wants us to advance the ball whenever we have the opportunity to do so. And I think we will be able to, to do that once or twice. Ang mahalaga lang siguro in this match, as usual, hindi pa kampante. That display against Australia, there were some points in that match na we were really performing well as a defensive unit. Especially compared last year where we really didn't have the pieces on offense like Maya, Jess and Angie, Alicia. Like ang dami na nating reinforcements in the back line. I think we have a much more, improved back line that can, go mano a mano with these elite attackers. I won't really be upset or disappointed if we lose. That's really that's the outlook fans uh uh most fans look at it. But I'm just looking forward for our Filipinas to give them a really good fight. And if it goes like a draw, if it ends in a draw, grabe, it will be a breathtaking result. I mean, bilog ang bola sa football. So you really don't know what will happen. But if the Filipinas are able to get a result like that now, I mean, our backline will have offers overseas after that match. Sure. Yeah. But I'm just excited and relishing the opportunity. The first two matches will define our campaign. This one, anything that we can get out of it is a bonus.
True, 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 true. Oh, Jack.
And so, so kung kay Kent, bonus daw bonus what if the game against Norway would be favorable for us. Pero sa akin, if we say we win the first two games and whatever result is for Norway, I think I see it as a statement. So, dun talaga makikilala na talagang may Philippines team pala talaga ang Pilipinas. I mean, the Filipinas are really here. Kasi if we listen to other podcasts predicting the games in the World Cup, they always show us as the underdogs, and we love being the underdogs. It's just that they're basing their statements on the rankings, and whatever happens with Norway, it will be a really big statement for us. We win, we lose, we draw, whatever it is. It will depend on how we play it, and yun, it will change everything how the world will view the Filipinos. And you've mentioned all the players that they have. So Mialde for me and Hageberg. So sana hindi ma-starstruck yung defense natin. And so starstruck, just pwede ma-starstruck before the kickoff, like what happened to Haley and versus versus Chile. Ayan. So but after the kickoff whistle, game face na talaga si Haley, and she was able to get that header point, diba? Hopefully we'll be able to defend effectively and no panic. We'll be able to use our Norwegians, Sarah and Meryl, to be able, vital parts in order for us to have a nice game against Norway. So whatever learnings that they have, we need it. Use it, yeah, if applicable. Yun. So they know the weaknesses of the team so far since they played the youth team of Norway. And if those learnings are still applicable for our team, then that will be our advantage. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Wala na akong sasabihin, sinabi niya ng lahat. So, so just to, dahil sinabi niya na lahat, I think I'll just highlight the Norway side, because understandably a lot of people are kind of ano ba, looking away when it comes to Norway now, because it's still, like I mentioned, they're still being haunted by what happened in the recent Euros. But kasi how will I say this? I think it's a tactics issue what happened to Norway. So in that game versus England, they fielded, forgot. I think it's Blackstad, Yuli Blackstad. She's an attacking player, but she was deployed left back. So Norway was very exposed on the left side. In attacking wise, I would also argue that they were underwhelming, but I really think the problem is yun nga, tactics, because they have the individual quality from forwards to midfield. They just weren't able to put an attacking play. So alam mo yan, even if you have the best players in the world, if you don't have yun nga, that's why I always highlight like team fit and yung cohesiveness ng team. If you can't make the team gel, kumbaga, it won't work. Hindi naman siya parang I was going to make a comparison with basketball, but like, alam mo yun, parang, kumbaga sa basketball, pwede ka maging backout, right? And your team can win. In football, you can't do that. Kaya yung nangyari nung Euros, wala, their midfield was butas. They couldn't partner Frida Manom with anyone who would be more effective to connect the ball sa taas. Imagine you have Caro and you have Ada up top, pero kahit long ball hindi mo magawa. But they have Ingrid Engen, who by the way I think is friends with Meryl Serrano. So they have Ingrid Engen, who just she's been doing well in Barcelona, is now a European champion. So if you partner her with Frida Manom, for sure they can make magic in the midfield. So I think this Norwegian team just really need to find the right formula to make their team work together. So here's to me hoping they don't find the right formula, Chaya. So we'll do well against them. Anyway, yeah, so wow, we're very quick. What up time? 30 minutes now. Okay. So in general, what would be your kumbaga, let's just say a general statement of this 3 group matches. Siguro halo niyo na rin yung kung meron kayong messages to the supporters of how they should look at this World Cup qualification. Jack, you want to start?
Okay. So again, this is our debut. So personally, I'm rooting now we reach round of 16. But again, it really depends on how we will do our games. Whatever happens, we'll be supporting the girls, our Filipinas, all the way. So let's go back to how it all started. The dream was just to reach to qualify for the World Cup. So playing and winning the games in the group stages is are already pluses from that dream. So um we want to win, syempre, of course. Who doesn't want to win, diba? But whatever happens, we stay supported with the girls. We pray for them that they do their best, and the coaches. Um, Yun lang. Wag mawawala yung support pag natalo. Yun, because we are just getting started. We crossed the bridge in qualifying the World Cup, and since there is a first, laging may susunod. So we'll be able to qualify on the next World Cups every 4 years. So hope to see everyone there still. Yeah.
Well, as for what I've said a few months ago, we really need to temper expectations. There are no pushover teams in the World Cup, and there are no easy matches in the World Cup. It's the best of the best. Every single team who reached the World Cup, they qualified there via merit. So, even if we say that there will be matches where we'll have good chances to win, ano yun laging 50-50 yan. We will always have tough times, and in the highest level of women's football, it's really all about who takes advantage of the opportunities and the errors that your opponent makes. So parang less mistakes, more chances of winning, ganun. And going back, they, we've progressed so much that our fans tend to forget that this is just the start of the program blossoming more and seeing things come together. The goal from here now on is to be a consistent Women's Asian Cup and Women's World Cup uh you know team. So uh I have really no complaints with the lineup, with the coaching. I think we're at the best possible uh condition and form that we have. Plus we'll have a tune up against Sweden. I mean, you know, that's one of the best teams in the world. So I can't really, we can't really wala na tayong hahanapin pa sa ginagawang preparations ng team management. Though I think maybe hopefully we can have another tune up so that it'll be better. But for us, it's more of our mindset eh. Kumbaga, um we should remove a bit yung rose-tinted glasses natin as supporters. Gaya na sinasabi namin ni Ben last year na pag-uusapan natin to, na mahirap din na nawiwili tayo sa pagkapanalo. We parang lumulutang tayo so much with our unrealistic expectations na nakakalimutan natin na parang um, the Southeast Asian level is a small pond, and there is still the Asian level and the world level, which is much more complex, much more tougher than what we are playing in Southeast Asia. So hopefully the mantra here is just to enjoy and savor every second. Because I think that's also the mindset of the players, to compete and to enjoy. Because you'll never know what happens next. Eh. Well, we want them to win, pero the highest level, kumbaga may feeling out period pa yan. So hopefully we as fans, we can also put all our support, unconditional support behind the team. That's what they need in this Women's World Cup.
Thank you, Kent. Bilis. World Cup. So yeah, it's the same with Kent, and like I said, we've been saying this for a year now. My appeal really is to, again, please temper your expectations. Especially, a lot of uh the fans who are following the team now are new to this. Actually, we all are new to this. We've never qualified in a World Cup before, but like what Kent said, ibang level na to, guys. So we need to uh really temper our expectations. We can't win it all. Um but just going back, we've been I always say this, very, very disciplined defensively. And we've seen that at full strength versus Australia in the Asian Cup. We've frustrated them for, I think, 50, 60 minutes. We lost to Scotland and Wales. But we also frustrated them in the first few minutes in the game. And I think just based on that, playing against tougher opponents, it now boils down to professionalism, experience, and stamina. Na ano tayo nauupos tayo after halftime usually. So doon na magkakatalo-talo yun pagdating sa World Cup. And we've had enough time since we found out who we're playing against to prepare. And other teams also. Ngayon, because of the many games that we've played, they practically have a library of our games for them to review and do their homework. I'm sure they've been studying us. Um and in over a year, we've also worked on our game fitness. We've experimented thanks to Ninong Jeff's World Tour. We've worked on our yun nga, cohesiveness and stamina, no? So now, my God, ilang days na lang? 25 days before the World Cup. It's now down to the nitty-gritty of it all. Like Coach Allen telling them, okay, di ba, when we win the ball from a defensive corner, this is how we're going to attack. This is how we're going to find the space, who you need to go after. That's the main focus now. And I think so, we don't get tactically caught out. So the job now for the coaching staff is how we will execute those tactics. How Coach Allen would always say, every player knows their responsibility. And now he needs to say that what we will do in defense. If we get the ball, how fast we need to get that ball in the wings. We're not supposed to lose it in the midfield. We're not going to leave a hole in the midfield. We're going to give QQ, Sarina, Chandler, or Katrina the freedom that they need to bring the ball forward. We cannot look like strangers out there. And although we have that symbiosis, we've played together for some time now. It's high time to take it up a notch because this is the World Cup now. Alam mo yun? So, yeah, and I also just need to remind our kababayans that we are going against fully professional teams here, whereas most of our players are still in college. And our average age is 24, 25, I think. So let's just again, let's temper our expectations, but let's hope for the best and pray for their safety and avoid injuries, and let's support them in whatever way we can. May it be on social media, if you're on the stands, if there are viewing party. It's very important. And I know that everyone loves winners. And I hope that even if we don't win the three group matches, we still keep the support at our national team. Because at the end of the day, you have to ask, what are we doing there? What's it for? So let's keep the support not only to the national team but also with Philippine women's football in general. and I thank you. that's that's my closing remarks, closing message to anyone listening. I can't believe it's just 25 days, you guys.
Yes. Nagbalik tanaw ako nung nakaraan. Yeah, Tagalog.
Uh,
Eh, wala lang, parang biglang nung parang nagkaroon ako ng quick review in my head. Tapos parang, oh my God, parang maglalaro na tayo. Naiyak ako. Ayun, ay, naiyak na naman ako. Ayun, so parang kailan lang ang AFC kasi, 'di ba? Parang feel ko pa yung pag-save ni Olivia nung penalties, feel ko pa yung pag-kick niya and pumasok, feel ko pa yung kay Sarina. I mean,
feeling ko kalahati ng views ng video na yun, ikaw lang.
ay, hindi ko naman nare-rewind. Pero, yun, pag naiisip ko, parang, no, parang, ang bilis talaga, ang bilis. Parang, from that, isa't kalahating taon na yung nakalipas, tapos maglalaro na tayo.
Bilis.
Grabe lang.
Baka kalimutan mo na kami, Kent, after ng World Cup, Jess.
Well, I've had a deeper affinity with the Filipinas ever since yung 2019 SEA Games. That was the first time I've watched them live. And tumatak sa isip ko yung frustration when we lost that bronze medal match to Myanmar because the defense kept reminding me that the Filipinas lost the game because I arrived late. And when I arrived, Myanmar scored twice. Sabi, hanggang ngayon, yun pa rin pang-asar eh. Kaya
Nagbalot ka
natalo
tuloy
yun
sa
eh.
puwet.
Oo. Pero at the same time, if you look at that and 4 years ago and yung ngayon, it feels like a fever dream. Kasi parang if you're gonna say we've had a hard qualifying no to the Women's Asian Cup, and it was like if you're gonna tell me that we're gonna be in a Women's World Cup this year, I'll probably laugh at your face. Ganun. Parang, talaga ba? Pero that Coach Allen stage appointment really changed a lot, in the program and the outlook of Philippine women's football, because the Filipinas represent the Philippine women's football. Ang daming nangyari, more player, we've reached the heights we've never reached before. And what excites me is we're just barely scratching the surface actually. Yung hindi na-realize ng marami na we've qualified to the Women's World Cup. We're a World Cup team without having a professional league, without getting the best headed players yet.
Correct.
Kumbaga parang we're not realizing our fullest potentials yet. We're punching above our weight. So kumbaga ang iniisip ko talaga recently, beyond this tournament, if we continue to get things right, kabahan na talaga yung mga kapitbahay natin at yung buong Asian women's football. Kasi the moment we get things right and we get things better, we're gonna give everyone in this continent a very hard time. Itaganyans ba to? Yan. And
Imagine.
and kumbaga sabi nga namin, mga kaibigan namin, kumbaga this Women's World Cup, let's just enjoy the beautiful game. Because the Women's World Cup and every big tournament is a celebration of the beautiful game. Especially yung gains ng women's football since the last World Cup sa France. Ang laki na isinulong ng women's football, not only in the world but in the Philippines as well, diba? So just excited to see the Philippine flag being hoisted in a World Cup match. Well, who would have thought? Kumbaga, if we see that moment, malamang kung hindi ka iiyak, hindi ka Pilipino. Ganun diba? So parang temper expectations and enjoy every second, because yun talaga yung kumbaga we're all in dreamland. Let us not huwag nating payagan yung unrealistic expectations to take the excitement and savoring history out. Kumbaga, nakarating tayo doon, most of the nations in the world, they would die. They would die to be in a World Cup.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
those other nations that na hindi ko nababanggitin, they're even more fanatical about football than
Let's
us.
just take Iceland for example.
Di ba? Di ba? So, you know, I mean, this is an opportunity and a dream. And let's just lagi ko reiterate yan to our fellow fans and supporters. Let's enjoy every second.
Yes.
Thank you, Ken. Oh, by the way, mas mataas tayo sa Myanmar. Gusto ko lang sabihin. Hinighlight ko yun na last episode na hindi natin malagpasan yung Myanmar. Finally, we're above Myanmar in the rankings now. So hopefully, it stays that way and we keep reaching greater heights. So yeah, thanks to you both again. And ano ba? Please don't expect any episodes in the coming 2 months, but I will be uploading reels either on TikTok. Well, it's the same TikTok, and then cross post it on Instagram. So short form content muna tayo kasi I probably won't have the time to sit down and record. So yeah, and I'll be at the World Cup. So I'm excited to reporting from Charat. Yun lang.
Yes. So we'll be watching. Ang iyong
Congrats,
minute.
man.
Yes.
Sana
Diyos ko,
all
Lord. Ayun lang. So, thanks guys. Ano pa? Sabihin mo na. Pero may
Wala.
yung scarves
Ayan.
mo.
It's not here. Nasa kabilang room eh. Sorry. Yung
Okay. So if you're going to the
But
matches
yun.
and you need Filipinas scarves, I highly recommend. This is not a sponsored post. Nax! There,
Yes.
I highly recommend the scarves produced by Avante Filipinas. They're of good quality, I promise you. Hindi naman ako
Thanks.
mag-endorse kung mapapahiya ako. So
Yes.
just contact
Ayan.
Jack. Check the links below. Links below!
Yay! Ayan.
I'll put the link to the Avante Filipinas group so you can order
Ayan.
from Jack. So thanks again, guys.
Ayan.
Good night, good evening, good
Thank you,
morning.
and see you guys in the World Cup watch parties.
Yeah.
See you.